Okay, so welcome, and thank you for anybody who is able to show up tonight or at a later date. Tuning in and providing this offering has been coming up through me for the last couple of weeks. I have not only felt a call within myself as we are here living through really these unprecedented times, but I have also really had the privilege of getting a couple of nudges from some different family and friends saying, we really would love for you to put something together and begin offering some things around this COVID-19 global epidemic that we're all living through. So it's been interesting, as I'm sure it has for most of you, because what I noticed was not only that desire to show up and to be present and to offer, but also really maybe a wise pull to stay, to pause for a moment. There are ways that all of us have been asked to pause. In many ways over these last few weeks, it's felt as though our lives as we've known them have come to a halt. I'm not sure if you would agree. And please feel free to introduce yourself as you're coming in and comment along the way. I would love to hear from you. So life as we knew it a few weeks ago is very different today. And the adjustment that it has taken within each of us is profound. So I just wanted to take a moment and honor that. And so within myself, what I was noticing was that I really was needing to sit back, to turn within, to take care of myself, to know what was happening within me to the best of my ability amongst all of this uncertainty, before being able to really show up to offer something here for all of you. So I am blessed that I have been able to take that time, and I felt the draw to really offer an opportunity to guide tonight each of us to experience that pause. We have been called to it by universal forces, right? Started by this virus and the way that it has impacted us in a multitude of ways, whether we are liking it or not. And so it's an invitation tonight to show up and to take a few moments just to pause in all that is going on here within you, within me. I see everyone joining, and hello, it's awesome to have you here. Hi, Emily. Hi, Allison. And I just want to welcome everybody that joins us tonight. And just taking a moment to honor, right, however you to date have been impacted, however your work, your home, your family, your friends have been impacted. Every single one of us, near and far, has been impacted. And so I just want to take a moment and recognize some of these different impacts. And if it's comfortable for you, I'm going to just invite you to bring your hands over your heart. You may feel like you want to bring one over the heart and one over the abdomen, whatever feels best to you. And just taking a breath in, and for a moment, just breathing in and fully acknowledging your experience in this. It's very likely been complex and ever-changing. I know for me, it has felt like waves, right? Like sometimes it's as if life is as it's normal is sort of going on with just a couple different changes, and then other times I've been feeling just this like, I get hit by these kind of waves of exhaustion, or other emotions, thoughts, feelings. So whatever this has been like for you over these past few weeks, just taking a breath in and acknowledging that. And releasing. And as we begin, I also want to take a moment and acknowledge the healthcare providers, the helping professionals, the people who are going in and sort of on the front lines, our politicians, whether we agree or disagree with how they're handling things, they are showing up. They are making tough decisions. They are, I believe, doing their best to communicate with us. The business leaders, the administrators, the owners of businesses, a lot of difficult decisions, quick decisions that are impacting many, many lives. So just taking a breath with all of this. Our parents, our teachers, students, wherever you fall along this continuum of humanity, let's just take a moment and honor and acknowledge the variety of experiences that are here. Just taking a breath in and releasing. And so tonight, as we honor and acknowledge this, I'm going to take a little bit of time and guide us through a meditation practice, inviting us to truly honor this pause. And so I'll invite you to join me in closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, whatever feels most comfortable for you. We do this often when we are working with the practices of our attention, meditation, or in other ways, so that we can eliminate the stimulation, we can shift the nervous system and invite the whole body mind, whether it feels different or not, to shift gears. And so inviting those eyes to close or the lids to lower, and just inviting a full breath here, breathing in, filling into the lungs, filling into the chest, and opening to a smooth, slow exhale. I'm going to do this a few times together, breathing in and opening, loosening, extending the out breath, release. And this time on the in-breath, as you breathe in, feeling into the sensations that are here, feeling into the expansion, the fullness in the lungs, the chest. And on the exhale, releasing, tuning into the sensations, loosening, softening, letting go. A couple more times at your own pace, deep breaths. As you feel into the breath, beginning to feel into the body. And knowing that whatever's happening in the body-mind right now is perfectly fine. There's no right or wrong, just noticing what you're meeting here. Whatever's happening in the space around you, if your children are awake and moving around, or your spouse, your pets, whatever's happening, it's perfectly fine. Just allowing things to be just as they are. Inviting the breath to resume its natural rhythm. Just taking note of that place in the body where these sensations of breath are easiest to detect. You may feel the sensations in the nostrils. You may feel the sensations in the chest. Or perhaps the abdomen. Just noticing, observing. And This next breath in, breathing in, feeling into the groundedness of the body, resting right here, however you are, sitting, standing, lying down. Maybe taking this moment to check in and noticing if the body needs to adjust in any way. Just allowing. We take a moment to pause here, feeling into the sensations, noticing any tingling or pulsing, any sensations moving through the body. Perhaps noticing the sensations of your feet on the ground or your hands resting over the heart, over the abdomen. We tune in here to these important centers of our being, the enteric brain, the gut brain, our center for wisdom, for knowing, the heart brain. This is where we store our emotions, our master communicator, coherence generator through the whole of the body-mind. Deep breath. Just feeling into whatever's here. You may notice a sense of ease or calm. You may notice agitation or restlessness. Just allowing whatever's here, observing, taking note. Each exhale, feeling into the groundedness of the body in this moment. And from this seat of stillness, taking a moment to notice what's happening in the thinking mind. Noticing if the thoughts are many or if they're few, if they're moving quickly or slowly, whatever's here. Recognize. And this next exhale, releasing any tensions, any holdings down and out through the body. Just imagine that they could be released down through the floor, deep into the earth, becoming nutrients here for the soil, for our growth. And this next breath in, scanning through the experience, noticing any emotions that are here. Recognizing, naming, allowing whatever's here to be just as it is. There's no right or wrong. And on this next breath, breathing in, filling into the lungs, filling into the chest, opening and acknowledging your experience right here today. Acknowledging your personal experience since our awareness of this has really began, since it's impacted your life. Holding space. Observing, reflecting, allowing. Inviting in a full deep breath here, inviting in an element of trust that whatever feelings or sensations, emotions, whatever it is that you've been moving through is exactly what's been meant to move through you. Couldn't have done it differently. There was no better or worse. Perhaps bringing some understanding that where we sit this evening, coming together in this practice of unity, of honoring this call to pause, that there are no rules for how we are supposed to show up to unprecedented situations. We acknowledge the words of Maya Angelou. We do the best we can, and when we know better, we do better. Simple. On this next breath, breathing in, acknowledging all the ways that you have been showing up to yourself, to your loved ones, to your animals, to your community. Trusting that it's been enough. Taking a moment here to reflect on what feels good that you've been tuning into, what feels right. Noticing from this moment forward what you may want to continue to do or what you might want to shift. Acknowledging that when we face things we've never faced before, it automatically stimulates and activates different levels of emotions in our body-mind. Different forms of hormones become available and start pulsing through. We don't have necessarily a roadmap for how do we handle this. And so taking a breath, pausing with this recognition, this awareness, perhaps bringing a sense of compassion to the self for how you've shown up to this. And taking another full breath here, breathing in, filling into the lungs, filling into the chest. We move through our experience recognizing what's here. We investigate what sensations are present. Where do we feel this in the body? So for a moment, just scanning through the body, becoming aware of any sensations that really are speaking to you. It might be a tension, it might be a looseness or a lightness, a heaviness, just noticing and bringing your attention right into that space. Breathing. Perhaps inviting this curiosity to notice its size, notice its weight, heavy or light. Is it large? Is it small? Is it moving or solid? Not trying to change anything, just observing, noticing what's here. Breathing. In this breath, in this observation, we allow. Whether we like it or dislike it, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, we observe, we name, we investigate, we allow. And on this next breath in, breathing in, filling into the lungs, filling into the chest. Perhaps inviting this breath to move directly into this space wherever it is in your body, in your mind, right here, right now. And checking in, lightly asking this question. What do you need right now? Asking this to the sensation, asking this to the self. Nurturing. And just noticing if any answer shows up. There's no right or wrong. We're not looking for anything. It's just an opportunity within this pause. And if something shows up, perhaps it's even silence. Perhaps it's the image of offering a gesture, a hug, a tear, a hand placed somewhere else, a phrase, whatever shows up for you, just allowing it here for a moment. And breathing. And on this next breath, breathing in fully, deeply, expanding the lungs, expanding the chest, smooth, slow exhale, lengthening the exhale. And again, full breath in. And releasing. Each exhale feeling into the groundedness of the whole body right here. One more time, full breath. And releasing. And just taking a moment, inviting the self to acknowledge, to reflect on what's here for you. What are you taking with you from this? Any insights on how to respond to yourself or to others as you step forward? Again, there's no necessity for words. Oftentimes, the communications come through a felt sensation, through an image, through silence. Deep breath. And releasing. And as you hear the tone of the bells as they shift, just inviting your own body-mind to gently transition. Gently inviting the eyes to open if they have been closed, and slowly taking in the sights, the stimulation around you. From this place with the eyes open, tuning in. On this next breath, perhaps sending a little thanks, a little gratitude to yourself, appreciation for showing up here. However that practice was for you, filled with calm or agitation, filled with restlessness or ease, or some other thing altogether, however that was, just honoring and acknowledging and trusting that it was perfect, however it was. Exactly what the body-mind needed to see, needed to experience, because that's what's here. Showing up with this pause to honor and acknowledge the present moment. So thank you. And I just want to say that what I guided us through was this practice that there's an acronym called RAIN. This practice was first started by a meditation teacher whom I've had the privilege of sitting on Vipassana retreat with, named Michelle McDonald, and it is called RAIN. And it is a beautiful acronym. If you're familiar with Tara Brach's work, she uses it all the time as well. So it's in her books and in many of her practices. But it is the letters of the word rain. And I like to think of it as sort of, that subtle rain that we might allow just to sprinkle, that we almost, maybe not all of us, I'm sure, but many of us might even enjoy that soft, light sprinkling of rain on the body. And so it stands for recognizing, investigating, allowing, and nurturing. And so just keeping in mind that nurturing, sometimes it is just more silence and presence with whatever is showing up in the body mind. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out. I also just wanted to share, excuse me, my throat. Let me just take a sip of water. Excuse me. So there is a mantra that I have been working with, right? And it is showing up for what's showing up for you. Showing up for what's showing up for you. Or for me, it's I show up for what's showing up for me. Depends, right, on how that goes. And so that's what's happening here today. Today, I'm showing up for what's showing up for me. And I'm inviting each of you to do that as we take this pause. What is showing up for us? How do I want to respond? In these moments of pause, and we did a lengthened one today, but we can move through this practice of rain very briefly. It doesn't have to take a long time. It's just taking this pause, moving through what's here, so that we can check in and respond versus react, right? When we are acting from that heightened emotion, oftentimes that's when we have those moments of hindsight where we say, I could have done that differently, or man, that wasn't really me who showed up. And so I invite you to bring this into your practice, to reach out if you need support in doing so. And I just wanted to share, so it's a really an important value of mine, I suppose, that I do my best, as I'm obviously human, so, but that I do my best to practice what I preach. And so, as I mentioned, if you were here in the beginning, that I really felt the call to show up and do something, and I also felt the draw to anchor deep into my own needs these last couple of weeks, to notice what was here, what I needed to show up to, so that I could fill my cup and show up to whatever was moving through me from a seat of authenticity, from deep presence. And so I wanted to just share with you, in case you're looking for some options, what I do, right? So just a few things real quick, and then I want to honor everyone's time and be respectful of that, so we'll be ending. So I do take moments to rest and to work on cultivating my skills at attending, right? So I work with my practice of attention and basically strengthening my attention. Some people call this meditation. So it is meditation that I work with. But for those who don't like meditation, or who it's like, oh my gosh, meditation, that is so not for me. My thoughts do not chill out. I cannot sit still. It's like going to the gym for the mind. We exercise our muscle of attention. And so that is something that I do sometimes for longer periods, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and sometimes for short periods of time, checking in with 2 or 3 breaths. I love taking 3 deep cleansing breaths before moving into what's coming next, resetting, scanning through, taking a few moments to practice rain that we just went through. I also use a lot of essential oils. I've got one right here, the Adaptive. It's one of the newer ones that they have through doTERRA. I actually put some on just before this, and I've been using it the last couple of weeks. It is awesome to help with, it says it's a calming blend. So like agitation, anxiety, uncertainty, dis-ease, really tuning into what I eat, what's going into my body, how much caffeine am I drinking, am I using alcohol, are there a lot of processed foods that I'm taking in? So whatever that is. And I had the good fortune of just gathering with a group of people to focus on that. These ending yesterday, I think, and it was for a period of 10 days. And we just kind of set some guidelines for how we wanted to show up to the nutritional intake in our bodies, paying attention to hydration, paying attention to, non-processed foods, things of this nature. So these are different ways that I show up for myself. Connecting with community, I cannot don't underestimate, I guess that's what I'm trying to say, the power of like phoning a friend, reaching out to family, reaching out to friends, whether it's through a text message, through a phone call, in those moments of uncertainty, or even certainty and knowing. We can always, it's okay not to know, and it's okay to reach out to those around us, to lean in on our support networks. So these are definitely things that I have been doing and would like to encourage all of you to do. So this is obviously going to be available to anybody in the video. If you don't see it or you can't find it, feel free to private message me or reach out. And if you are interested, there's also another guided practice. It's brief. It's about 7 minutes that you can get by going to my website. It's called Tapping into Presence, and that you can receive that download if you're interested in that. So let's just take a moment and a couple of deep breaths as we honor and acknowledge what's here, feeling into the presence in the body. Taking another breath, honoring and acknowledging the self for taking this pause, however it showed up for you. And I leave you with one more statement today that I invite you to bring into your life now and perhaps in the future if it speaks to you. I take care of my own needs so that when I'm ready, I may fully show up, offering through wholehearted presence whatever is ready to be offered to another. Thank you so much for tuning in, thinking of you and holding space for all of you as we move through these unprecedented times. Good evening.